Hey there, everyone. This is Thomas with Board Game Revolution as we go beyond the table with Mr. Vital Lacerda to learn about game design and other fun stuff. I'm not going to pretend that I know ahead of time, but we're going to ask questions on the fly and see how this goes. Um, so you have a background in that some people might not know in advertising and in marketing, right?
Yes, that is my formation in university, and I worked on advertising agencies for 15 years. I have
15
my
years?
own
Wow.
advertising agency. Yeah, around 15 years, a little bit more, because I just stopped working in advertising like 3 years ago. Yeah, probably
Hmm.
before COVID. And that's when I start to just designing games and doing nothing else.
Right.
But until now, it was a long time for me to start to leave the advertising and start working on game design only.
Well, I
Um,
mean, it shows online you started in 2008, but Vinhouse is 2010. So I'm assuming maybe some Steam maps or something, right?
yeah,
Back then.
it's the Portugal map of Age of Steam that
Yep.
Eagle Griffin just asked me for adapt the map to the railways of the world,
Okay.
rails of the world maps, and so I did it, and 2 years ago. Yeah, it was the first attempt to design something. It was the Portugal map for Age of Steam, one of them still my favorite games ever. I still playing Age of Steam, and at the time I thought that would be fun to try to make a map for my country, and so yeah, it's still
What?
online. You can
Yeah,
download
yeah.
it.
What was the transition like leaving advertising and getting into board game design?
It took like 10 years,
Hmm.
maybe yeah, around 10 years. I it my being here now as a designer was like an accident because I just, as you said, I designed Portuguese map, but I didn't have any intentions to be a full-time designer,
Hmm.
game designer. I had my profession. I was in advertising. I was in advertising, and then I designed venues. I had some luck because What's Your Game just published it, and the game was well received. At the time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there weren't many heavy games outside. Maybe Wallace would be one of the the designers that designed heavy games at that time.
Right.
I remember to play Age of Steam and Brass. Those were
Plus,
of well, Brass is still my favorite ever. And yeah, I met Martin Wallace at the fair in Leiria here in Portugal, and I had the luck for him to playtest my game, and he liked it, and he
hmm.
just said to go ahead and keep designing, and I did it. And yeah, I'm a lucky
Here you
guy.
are.
Someone loved it and published it. It was
Right. And it seems
fun.
like you've been putting out a pretty much a big box game a year for the past decade now.
Well, I have so many projects in going on, and I work in one game at a time, full time. But I have background projects that I'm thinking about and playtest here and there. Try some new mechanisms, try to research the team. But most of the time, I focus in one game because I cannot do many at the same time. And once I focus in that game, I want it to be released on the next year. Usually, they take more time to be done. For instance, Lisboa took me like 5 years because
Wow.
I had I had the main mechanism in the beginning. I had the team, I researched. I had the main mechanism that was the building. Well, it was Mercado de Lisboa. Basically, that's the
Hmm.
main mechanism. I play tested that main mechanism, and then I just put the game out, left it in the shelf, and a few years after, I pick it up again and start to play testing for the real playtest. Because that's what I do. Once I pick up the game and decided that it goes to be published, if I can find a publisher, um, yeah, I playtest that game until I cannot playtest anymore because I'm so tired of it. But
What
yeah,
part of the
that,
process do you bring in other people? Sometimes you co-design, or at least for solo modes. You may do your own or bring on other people. What makes you decide
yeah.
to do that?
Usually for solo modes, I that's the first phase of my design because I do a few rounds around with the game to see if it works in the beginning. But then the game changes so much that the solo mode has to be redesigned at
Right.
the end of the phase, and that's when I have the game almost done when I finish the solo and or asks for someone to join me and to help me with the solo. In the case of Weather Machine, David just pick up the solo since the beginning. You have the game done. Well, not. I didn't have the game done. He started to work on the solo at like mid of the process of the development process, and he I developed the game for multiplayer, and he was developing and adjusting to my changes for the solo. And the process took a while, but I think the solo is good. Yeah, it's from David, and everybody
Yeah,
knows
David Tersey
he's
for sure.
very
Does
good
any of the
making
solo
solo.
development, sorry to cut you off, the solo development, does any of that leak back into the multiplayer stuff? Are there any elements that kind of cross over or maybe influence you to change things?
Yeah, one thing that I try on the solos is to simulate the multiplayer game, and David does that really well. So he has two elements. He had two elements that simulate two other players, and basically on the solo you are playing a three-player game because you have two IE players, two
Yeah,
autonomous that are behaving like human beings, basically,
right.
because he knows what he's doing. Um,
Yeah, I like that. A lot of solo players do. Sometimes it's too much upkeep for everybody, like on a daily basis, so it may be too
That's
much.
what I was saying. Many people love his games, his solo games, and th- there is no doubt that are really good. But many people prefer the solos a little bit simple, and me, I is one of them. I prefer to make solo simples. If you compare his solos with mine, you see that they are much less upkeep, and I start to design the solo games. Now it's a training, right? Everybody has every game has to have a solo there. But I start designing the solo modes in my games was just to help people to learn the multiplayer. That's what I had in my mind. Just say, okay, you can play solo just to understand how the mechanisms work for the multiplayer games, and that's why my solos are quite simple because I just wanted to explain the players the game and not making a real challenge against the IE. Right now the demand is different right now, and that's the games evolved, the industry evolved, and the demand is very different. You want to have someone that challenge or someone or one IE bot that challenges
Yeah.
you, so
Yeah,
that
because
gives you a
beating your
big
own
challenge.
score is the default. I don't know. I don't want to call it lazy, but that's the default solo mode you see in a lot of games. And definitely for the past couple of years, solo gaming has membership has skyrocketed. We've got a group that hit 12,000 people in a year.
Yeah,
It's a really good community, and there's tons of engagement. And solo players are just as valid as anybody else. We all love to play. We like to sit around the table, get away from our electronics. Some people like to socialize. Some people don't.
yeah, but you
Maybe they
like to
just
be
need a break.
challenged, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we want to play a game and we want to enjoy the mechanisms. Unless the game's flawed and doesn't work solo or with two people, it's like it's not fair to say, oh, it's better with more or better
because
with three or one. No.
yeah, I'm lucky about that because in Discord, my playtesting group has a lot of people that play solo. So I have a lot of playtesters that can play solo.
Yep, I'm in
Because
there.
sorry.
I'm in there. I haven't had time, but I'm been itching to try out the new one, the bots
So
one.
and this makes the solos better, right? Playtesting makes the games better. There's
Always,
no doubt about that.
yeah,
So and if you playtest more time, the game will improve. And
correct.
yeah. So but right now for the game I'm designing, I'm doing the solo myself because I could. It's an easy one. It's hopefully it's challenging, but I'm starting that phase right now for the next game.
Is
Afterward, I'm
that
sure.
Bot Factory, or you're not supposed to say?
No, Bed Factory is a different project.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Bot Factory. You want me to talk about Bot Factory?
I
So
know Rachel's watching this, and she's in love with getting that game and would freak out if you put her in it. We'll talk
it's
to Randall or
Bot
something, but
Factory is a project that I'm doing just like Mercado. It's not a similar game, but yeah, I'm looking for to have a smaller game that uses a mechanism from my games, from my one of my old game, but I do it with another designer. Okay,
okay,
and Bot Factory, the first one Mercado did with Julian Pombo is releasing a nice game right now.
right?
Pampero, you should have taken a look of it. And
Yeah,
I'm
Pampero. It's in the
making
tool. I think
advertising
Ape
to
Games is
Julian.
putting it out.
You have to take me, Julian. I'm advertising your game. So, and I'm designing Bot Factory now with a friend of mine that is also designer, Portuguese designer. And what is about the game? The game is about making robots in the small factory, okay? But and the main mechanism, I don't know if you know Kanban, the main mechanism is the workplace of Kanban. We also use Sandra, he's there, but it does not have such hard work on the boards. She's just doing some tasks. It's a much faster game. Like plays like in 1 hour, but you have to plan in the same way as you plan in Kanban. So you have to
Mm.
get projects, you have to get the parts, and then you build the bots. And the game is really fun because it's a combo game. So by doing something, you are allowed to do something, and then you can do something. And I think in my design phase, I'm on that stage. I'm enjoying making combo games.
Have you
So
thought about ever designing for a smaller a medium like the Button Shy games? They do the 18 card packs that pack a lot of punch, or maybe travel
well,
games.
I consider this Bot Factory and Mercado Lisboa a small game for
Okay,
me or for the type of games I'm designing. I never thought about 12 cards, the 18 cards game, but I'm not put that apart. We never know, right? So
right.
I don't.
It's fun
I
to
have a
try
style
things.
of game, as you know, right? I like heavy games, and that's what I
Hmm.
play, and that's what I look. I prefer to spend 3 hours in my gaming night playing one game than three games in 3 hours. So
Right,
that's a question of taste, and so I design what I play, right? So,
right.
um, but uh, right now I know that there are many people that think my games are too heavy, and I put the challenge on me to design one game a little bit less hard to play. But since it uses the same mechanism of Kanban, I always say if you learn Bot Factory and you have fun with it, you know how to play Kanban. So
Right,
it can be also a open door to the hardest games that people think, oh, this too much difficult. They are not. You just have to play it. We learn everything, right? So if
right.
we have fun for it, so yeah,
Yeah, you just need to spend the time to learn it. And,
yeah.
um, so what inspires you to design a game? Is that if like theme, mechanic, some kind of like what sparks the
Well,
ideas?
I always start by the team, always, because normally I look for something that has my interest in my life. So I'm worried about the environment. I design CO2. I like wine, Portuguese wine. I design wines. I like cars, electric cars. I drive one, so I design Kanban heavy. So all of the things that they are basically my interests in life. Okay, so if I
Makes
like
sense,
something, I research about it and I try to see if he can make a game about it. So that's what inspires me. Where? Well, anytime during sleep, taking a
right?
bath, giving a walk, from a travel, looking at a movie. Well, the escape plan comes from movies. So uh, I don't know what inspires me. Just like the ideas come, and I research about it, look at the team, and I see if it is cool to make a game about it or not. And then I develop. Of course, during the development process, I always adjust the team to the mechanisms to the team. So there's a lead there. Um, a lot of work to be done. So it's just not inspiring. It's 99% of work and that inspiration. So yeah.
We know you like cars and wine and concerned about the environment and a lot of the factors at play there, and there's some subconscious elements to your games with some messages there as far as when you see the actions and the results and stuff. What else could we see that maybe you're uh, have a hobby of, or other things to kind of insight maybe what might inspire you in the future? What other hobbies do you have? What other things are you
You
passionate
are
about?
getting some information from
Just
outside.
I'm just giving people something to chew on, you know.
You can see in the back of me here.
Oh, you got to be able
I have a
saxophone.
saxophone there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's one of my hobbies, and
Do
I'm
you
working on a
play a
game
lot?
about music. Yeah, so
Nice. I actually was an
probably.
audio engineer for 15 years, and I did music for another 10.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, but I don't play well, so I just
Oh,
start
me neither.
recently.
I'm like jack of all trades, master of none. I just learned how to audio edit, time things up, and make it sound good. You know.
Yeah,
So
just like me. I just love music and try to play saxophone, and I love the instrument, and well, so but I love music, and that's
me
one
too.
of my themes in my next I don't say portfolio, but
Yeah, I'd be very
the idea.
curious about that. Had ideas for
Well,
how that could
I
be
can
done.
talk a little bit about that because I'm working on it already. But
Nice.
well, I will not.
Okay. Well, we know that there's the music theme game in the future for
It's a
Vital
music
Lacerda
theme
fans,
game.
right? So, we got an idea that some of the themes in, things inside your life influence your themes, in how they interwoven in the games. I don't, I kind of notice you don't really do expansions often. Is that just because you feel your games are complete and they don't need them?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. Um, that's one of the reasons my games are complex. It's because I like to complete them. I don't need expansions to do something else. I
Right.
prefer to design a new game than design an expansion because the time to do it is almost the same. Because you have to keep playtesting, you have to have the same work, and you have to organize things that to fit on the game that is already done. Um, the small expansions that I usually release are things that I didn't play in the place in the game that I can easily edit later on because someone's just asked me, "Oh, okay, make a small expansion to make the game a little bit more variable." But I don't design big ones. I designed this one here, the new one, the Alien Invasion, because the publisher asked me to make a cooperative game on Mars. So I don't even consider it like expansion because it's just a completely different way to play the game.
Hmm. Interesting.
Okay, it's not you are not adding something to the game. You are playing the game in a different way.
Yeah, I'm really eager to try that because we didn't
It's fun.
love it as much, but I am excited to try it as a co-op. Gallerst is one of my
It's fun.
favorites. CO2.
Well, it's not only co-op. You have one version. You can play you can play Alien Invasion in 4 different ways. You have the new solo, and
Hmm.
solo that players are really enjoying. It's a solo based on goals, and then we have two versions that are two ways to play the game that are cooperative. But you have one that is one against all, and that one against all is very fun because the one is the alien that are trying to expel the humans from Mars, and it's really fun because he wants to kill everybody, and he's trying to do his best to do it.
Right.
It's just like a little bit of when you are mastering a game, right? And he is the master, and he's trying to go to different ways uh, to try that the humans cannot do what they want. So yeah, it's
Right.
very cool. The game, I
It's
really like
thematic.
that version, and I play. Usually, the playtester he was Julian, one of my playtesters that he did with me the solo of CO2, the solo of Lisboa, and he's doing Pampero now. And he really loves to be the alien because it's mean. He's mean, you know. He said, "Yeah, you humans don't belong here because you are virus. You have to get out of the
It's true,
of the universe and go back to your little planet. You know, you
right?
must be mean to play that version, and it's cool. Yeah,
Um,
you have to try it. It's a really cool one.
one of the questions somebody posted in the group was regarding the fact that your productions are lavish, right? The games are not cheap. It's a big barrier of entry for some, and kind of intimidating with the gameplay. Do you feel you're limiting your audience at all? I mean, clearly you make games for yourself and that you enjoy, but does it worry you, concern you that maybe you're cutting off some access by the cost or other factors for to making the games more accessible to other players? You know,
Well, I understand that, but that is the part of the publisher, not
right?
mine. You know, I design
True.
the game, I do my best, and the publisher. Then we discuss the publisher. Our artist is also a renowned artist, right? So, and uh, the publisher likes to have that, we can say, a deluxe product in the market, and I'm proud of it because the games are amazing, right? So, and the production of the games are
The
amazing,
production is
and I really
amazing.
like.
The games are well built and they play well. It's just, things are the rising cost of everything. It's going to be something maybe we'll see some reconsideration on that over the next couple of years. But
It is a decision of the publisher that I support, and that's it. That's
yeah,
all.
they make great games. I've
But
got no qualms with
it
it.
also, the games are directed to a niche, right?
They are
And being heavy as they are already directed to a niche, and
right.
um, that is a product for collectors. And the publisher decided that if I'm doing a product for collectors, they must be very good done. And
It's good to stick to your guns and know what you know and be known for that. I mean, you can't appease everybody. And some of your other games are
it's my
potentially
market,
like
right?
Bot
And
Factory.
it's for the ones that design.
Yeah, Bot Factory could, open the doors for people who maybe never played heavier games, and then maybe they want to try, Weather Machine, and they want to try Galers. I don't think Galers was that hard to learn. It's just a lot going on, a lot of decisions. So,
None of my games are hard to learn.
well, for you,
Really, they are not. You just have to play it. You just have to give the time and play it. So
I just
you may
gotta
like
watch
it
Paul
and
Grogan,
don't
and
like
I
it.
can.
Yeah, it's
He does a good
you
job.
can read the rules. Also, they are very well written by Paul Grogan.
Always,
Also,
yes, always
so
well
yeah,
written.
he is
Any,
he's writing my next one also because he stopped writing rule books, I think, but
he's had a
he has
little bit going
compromised
on,
with
too much
me
stuff.
to. Yeah, yeah. And well,
Yeah,
we are friends. That's probably because of that that he's writing my next rule book also. So yeah,
and he's a good guy.
and I
He
hope
really he's
because
paid
I
his
really
dues and
like
he
his
busts
work.
his ass. Yeah. Any news on an expansion for Escape Plan?
Oh, many people ask me that. The
I know. I was
heist,
told to
right?
ask. Yeah, the heist.
Yeah, I have one playtester that is Shelly's always ask me about the heist because she doesn't love Escape Plan, but he wants a cooperative version of the
Hmm.
heist. I had it, well, I have it in my shelf. I don't know if when or if I'm going to pick it up again. Um, the
Fair enough.
story is the prequel of the game, so it's the robbery. It's the heist, right?
Okay.
Because in Escape Plan you already have the robbery, you are trying to escape with the money, and the prequel is before that happens. That's a prequel. It's yeah, it's the robbery, but it's a cooperative version. And
Hmm.
I designed a cooperative game not long ago. It was the expansion from on Mars, so I don't want to do it again so early. So yeah. It will maybe one day, and we never know. Yeah.
So I know you said you feel most of your games are finished. Do any of them not feel finished to you? Like looking at your catalog, is there anything you're like, that one just kind of calls me once in a while, and
Uh, well,
or
um,
anything you'd want to revisit because maybe you
you
feel
keep.
now you could do it better?
I feel, yeah, I feel that all the time. If I didn't finish the game, or if I don't finish a game, I keep working on it. It will improve for sure. But we have timing, and we say, okay, the game is ready. I don't want to work on it anymore because I feel that is already what I want. But if I don't know, 2 months later, I keep developing the game, I probably went to another place. So
Right.
that's
You
a
can
job that
overdo
is
it
not
too. You can
finished, you
overdo
know.
it, just like even mixing music. You get the mix sounding good, and then all of a sudden you get kind of tired. Your ears get tired, and you're tweaking stuff, and you listen back,
You can always
and then it's
improve
like
it.
the other version was better. What did I do? So,
Sometimes you wreck it, right? So yeah,
right?
but I did that with Vinhos, right? Because the second edition, when Eagle Griffin decided to publish Vinhos, I made a second game. So it's a game based on the first one. I'm not saying that it's better or not. It's easier, at least. Oh, it's more approachable to certain players, and
Oh,
many
you think
players
the
just
the
prefer
the Eagle version's more approachable than the old one?
Yes, I think, well, I designed it with that intention,
Okay.
because I took out the bank, I simplified the fare, so I made some changes on the
Hmm.
game that makes it more
Now I'm
approachable
gonna
to
have
the
to
new
hunt that one
players.
down too.
But you have both on the version. So the
Oh, you
deluxe,
do. That's
the
right. That's right. You don't that
yeah,
when you did that. I forgot. That's
a
actually really
double
cool.
side boards when you can
Yeah,
play the initial version with a
that's
small
awesome.
tweaks, nothing bad, and the new one. But for instance, for Kanban, I didn't change anything on the rules. It's just, well, I changed one rule, but that is not a big one. So yeah,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
the art is completely new. The way you see the board is completely new, but I didn't change any rules. So and I designed the game again and didn't change anything. So it's perfect.
So
It's perfect as it is.
it's been a very productive decade for you the past 10 years. Do you see yourself where do you
Well,
see yourself in 10 years? Do you see yourself game designing? You gonna be a fisherman, like you gonna
oh
retire? Like
yes, I love it. I will keep doing this until I die. So
awesome.
yeah, I'm having my dream job.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
I'm
blessing,
having
right?
my
To do what you want.
yeah. There is something that I try to pass to my children. You can do whatever you want and be happy with it. So yeah,
True.
that's the best way for you to be happy with your life. That's doing whatever you want, because every time I don't mind to work like 20 hours, 24 hours, because I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and that is the most important part. And maybe I'm doing something right, and for the people who likes my games, I'm probably doing something right. uh,
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
at least I said that to myself. So
you're getting paid to do what you love and people love you for it and you're happy. I mean, to me that's success,
yeah,
even if it's not a ton of money
I,
or if it's all the money, it doesn't matter.
I understand. I'm really lucky. That's why when you say if you are limiting the number of players because the production is very expensive and the games are very expensive, I'm really don't care much about that,
Yep.
because I'm living my life as I want to live it. Yeah, I'm not a very ambitious in terms of money. I just want to have
Yeah.
my work.
Well, it's not like you're doing it on purpose. This is just the games you like to design and play yourself. So
It's
obviously
very
that's the
good with
way you should go
my
about it.
Yeah, this is very good with Eagle Griffin games, and that's why I'm keep working with them. It's because they give me a white card to do whatever I want. Of course, they see the work, they usually like it, but they let me do what I feel that is better for the game. And that is a publisher that does nobody changed the name of one of my games. Nobody ever changed the theme of my games, and
True.
that is rare in the game design, right?
It is.
And so
Yeah, a lot of
I'm
times the
I'm
theme
really
is
lucky
up for
to
air.
be able to do that. So yeah,
Hmm.
all the teams I designed it was the teams of that the game was released. The only name that we changed, I think it was Vinhos, because it was called Vinícola. That is a word in Portuguese, and we changed to Vinhos. That is also a word in Portuguese, but it's easier to say. I don't know. The publisher. It was my first game. That was the only one that changed the name. So I'm really a lucky guy in the industry right now. I had
You are,
much luck.
and I appreciate you taking the time, and it's an honor to talk with you and learn more about the process and more of you as a person. You've had my respect for years as a designer. It's glad to finally meet you. Thank you for your time. Thanks to Eagle Griffin and Randall for arranging this, and hopefully people get a little enjoyment out of this. And with that, unless you have anything else to add, we can stop here.
No, thank you very much for having me, and it was a pleasure to talk about what I love to do. So,
We'll do this again
also
sometime soon.
like
So
my next game that is Weather Machine. Yeah. Don't
right,
forget
and
Weather.
yeah, for those that are curious about it, watch our demo video where he shows you how the main bulk of it, and you can still late pledge for the game right now if you're not sure how. I'll put some links down in the comments with ways to get to the pledge manager and other things you might need. So thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you,
And with that,
Thomas. See you.
yep, see you. BGR out.